I have things to tell you as you make your way to a comfortable seat. And I appreciate so much that you are joining me this morning. I had the great gift of getting to spend yesterday with my mom. We took a drive down to Big Sur and back. It's the first time we've seen each other since late February. And I just made a little post about it, that it's the first time that I had spent a day with a female live in a number of months. And I wanted to share a little bit about what came up for me in regard to the practice. And I realized how I rely on the connection that I have with other people, which is so easy, and sometimes a connection with animals too. So easy to feel such a sense of warm-hearted presence and love. And if you are like me, our connection with people is limited. And actually, I'm learning how to feel a sense of warm-hearted connection and love through this window that we have, this electronic window. But being with my mother yesterday, I just could feel how that kinesthetic presence and literally her breath and her pulse and her voice made it so easy to just open. And I've been thinking a lot about opening and how we stay open and juicy and available and in a sense of warm-heartedness and love when many of us are less able to see each other. It's one of the reasons we love to be around each other. And I've been looking at the ways traditionally that people did that over the centuries. They danced, or they sang their heart out. They moved often. Sometimes they rested profoundly. And that we each have different ways to open to that sense of love, which in this tradition is considered, it's always available to us, it's always there. And then the question is, well, how do we do it? How do we individually do it? And sometimes the methods we've been using may need to change. And so much has changed over this period of time. I know that the methods that I use they need to change. So in regard to that, I've been seeing that many of the classes that I've been teaching the last few weeks have been about hip opening, because that's pretty easy for me, hip opening. The back bending, not so much. And I want us to address the back bending today with these little bits of understanding. When we're going to open the body, we want to open the body from the inside out. So let's say we would like to invite a little greater sense of warm-heartedness into our bodies and our lives this morning. It might be a good idea to think about those that are easy to love, so that we can initiate that action from within instead of just manipulating the structure. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is, let's have it be more about the opening of the upper back as opposed to anything going on down in the lower back. We'd like to keep this area pretty stable, because it's often the case that when we go to open ourselves, we may refer to old habits that we've had before. So let's go looking inside for opening into places that we might not normally visit. I don't know what it's like to be you. I know for me, I feel as though life is asking me to open in new ways. And the last few weeks, I've been confronted by my head, which is, there's a lot of discussion about, oh my gosh, I'm afraid, and a sense of self-doubt. And so I think that if we're being asked to deepen and to open and to grow. There's no way around meeting that stuff that might be in the way of that. But let's meet it tenderly, and then let's keep going, okay? Let's keep going. And all the while being very kind to ourselves about it. All right, that's all. That's all I got. Let's bring the palms together at the heart. Remembering that some of the great mantras in this practice have to do with placing the sun in our heart, often the light of awareness in our heart. And we notice that if we take the image of the sun and we place it there, you can just feel, perhaps, a sense of warmth. And some of us might also feel a sense of absence of warmth. Either way, we're feeling in. And we'll begin the practice with one Om Mani Padme Hum, setting the tone for the practice, dedicating ourselves to being generous to ourselves, to moving with integrity, to being patient with ourselves, to loving the joyful effort of practice, to letting go often, and to turning within and listening to the teacher within. Om Mani Padme Okay, puppy pose, please. Let's come to the mat. And we'll tuck the toes under. Send the arms forward. Good. You could take your fingertips to the floor and just place invisible grapefruits under your hands. And go ahead and just allow the sternum to sink to the floor. Good, remembering, yes, indeed, it is Saturday morning, and we may have just gotten out of bed. And kindness is our very best friend. As we tuck the toes under, we send the hips back behind us a little bit more deeply. Yeah, feeling into the soles of the feet and the toes, just noticing here the difference between left and right side this morning. Feet are parallel. Good, and then rise up. Place the palms down on the ground. And gradually we'll make our way down onto our belly. Point your toes back behind you, please. Take your arms back so the palms turn up. And fill the top chest area with breath as you root your legs and press the feet into the floor. You can imagine that you've got a tray on your hands. It's a very weird image. You're pushing up and back as you root the legs, aerating top chest. It probably feels like we're not going very far. This is good. Inhale, exhale, slowly release. Place the hands now under the shoulders. Pull your mat, lift your chest a little bit, but feel the legs root. Point the toes. And I like to turn my head downward a little bit so I can lengthen the back of the neck. Just encouraging the breath upward. And then slowly down we go. We did not go far there. We've tucked the toes under, back through puppy. To downward facing dog. And let's walk it out a little bit, feeling into the legs. We know the legs have so much to do with opening the torso. Let's all inhale through the nose. Exhale, tongue out, eyes up. Again, inhale. Exhale. And one more. Good, we inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, and step forward between your hands. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. We'll have a little bit more emphasis on the inhale. Inhale, lengthen, draw chest forward. Exhale, lower. And do it one more time, please. Have your kneecaps lift. Inhale. Exhale, returning. And then one vertebrae at a time will slowly rise up. And have the head come up last. Send the arms upward. Root the feet and lift the sternum toward the sky. So this morning, we'll actually go ahead and open up the front of the chest as you root your heels downward, your toes downward. Feel into the armpit area. And you feel in from the inside out. So we're very interested in opening from the inside out. Inhale, exhale, release the arms. Good, now inhale, take the arms up once again. Good, interlace your fingers at the top, inhale. Exhale, over to your left side. Have your left hand open up. Right side lateral fascia, the whole sheath. Feel what's like in there this morning. Inhale, rising. Exhale, come to the other side. And even in these little movements, you can see that it's so common that we create a pattern, and often we'll just inadvertently go to the same pattern. Look around in there. See if you can find something new. Good, inhale, reach up. Exhale, let's fold forward, out and down. Inhale, lift the heart forward. Exhale, step back to plank pose. Pause in plank, push back through your heels. Good, hands under the shoulders. Now, round the upper back, find some space between the blades. Fill that space. So often we'll find space in the body, and then we'll move our awareness and our breath into that space. We inhale, exhale, knees down, chest and chin down, front of the feet down, point your toes. Now your hands come to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Now root the legs, please. So this is the tricky part, because when we're in class together, I can see what your shoulders are doing. We want to draw the shoulders down the back. Root the legs like crazy. If the shoulders are up here, well, let's just not have the shoulders up there. We'll inhale. Exhale, slowly down. Let's do two more. Inhale, upper back. Exhale, down. And point your toes way back behind you as you inhale, we lift. Exhale, slowly lower. Good, tuck toes under. Now head back toward puppy pose, please. Good, and we stretch the breath. And we slowly rise up onto hands and knees. Because we know that if we were to continue just operating under our normal habitual patterning, we'd end up a lot smaller than we could be, yeah? That habitual patterning tends to turn in and down. And it's one reason opening out and up is so important. Little balance. We take the right arm out to the side. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, slide it underneath. Place the head down. Left hand presses. Coaxing the rib cage. And by coaxing, I do mean an invitation. Create an invitation. Stepping into that little bit of space we might have created. But listen to see if that's true for you. Maybe the left leg goes back behind us, stretching the left leg back as if we could make it longer through this extension, with your left hip bone turned downward, downward. Good, and then releasing the knee to the floor, right hand pressing, inhale, left arm all the way up. Exhale, tucking underneath, setting the shoulder down. Create an invitation for the opening. Lengthen the spine. We create the conditions by lengthening the spine. Maybe the right leg, send it back. Good, inhale, exhale, the knee down, hands out in front of us, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, heels root downward, downward, yes. We inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale, push the ground away, rising all the way up, palms touch at the top, stretching the front of the body and the back of the body, and then releasing the arms and coming to your mountain pose. Let the shoulders soften. Good, so here in mountain, when you close your eyes and you stand in this shape, extend the fingertips long, so you're just gradually drawing the arm bones downward as we lengthen upward, front and back spine. And you might call into your awareness someone that's easy to love. For me this morning, it's my mom. And you notice how easy it might feel. Can you feel that feeling of loving from the inside out? Pick somebody really easy, okay? All right, so here we go. We inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step back, lower through the way you do. Knees and torso down, or inhale, cobra or upward dog, and exhale back over the toes. Rooting the heels down. So that's one of the things I've been very fascinated with, and yogis have often been fascinated with as well, is we are given this plethora, just amazing amount of potential for love and warm-heartedness through each other. And then the question is, well, objectless love, can we generate a sense of love from ourselves without an object out there? We inhale, exhale, bend the knees, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, push the ground away, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, release the arms. Pause in mountain pose, feel. Lengthening back body, lengthening front body, and notice the legs and their relationship to opening the chest. Objectless love, a sense of warm-heartedness, the sun at the heart. Inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Now inhale, take right leg back, knee to the floor, top of the foot to the floor. Gradually rise up, hands to the thigh first as we sink. Sinking, sinking, sinking downward. Check it out for yourself. Maybe the arms go upward, or maybe we interlace them behind the back, opening top chest. Choose a variation that encourages and invites. So that's very interesting in and of itself, that of course we would all walk around as incredibly loving human beings if we had access to that love at the drop of a dime. What we do have the ability to do is to create the conditions for love to show up. And so what are those conditions? Inhale, send the arms up once again. Exhale, slowly hands down, the left leg back, lower through the way you do. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, right over the toes, downward facing dog. 4 breaths. Steadiness and stability, it is often said, is one of those conditions. A sense of letting go a little bit. A sense of ease. Another. Inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step or float forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, push the ground away, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, folding forward. Now let's take the other leg back behind us, knee to the floor, top of the foot to the floor. Pause here, sinking. Yes, and the relationship that we often have with force or desire, pushing for things, instead of creating with patience, creating a little room, creating an invitation, listening, feeling in. Good. We might interlace the fingers the other way. When is it that we go right back to a habit without being present to the moment? So present to the moment, obviously quite a big deal in this practice. How deeply can we sink our awareness into a moment? Inhale. Exhale, hands down, tuck left toes under, right leg back. Either meet in downward dog or slowly lower. And be washed by the breath. Strong legs. Lift the pelvis up. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, rising all the way up, palms touch at the top. Exhale, release back to mountain pose. Close the eyes for a moment. Feel the back body and feel the front body. Good, so how can we be a little bit more steady here? Can we bring a little bit more ease to this? Can we be an invitation? Turn the body into a big invitation for opening. And can we listen? Listen inside for what we feel. Wonderful. Let's take the arms all the way up again. Inhale. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we step or float back, lower through on the same breath, or knees and torso down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back over the toes. Making your way. Sweep the right leg up and back. And for a moment, we'll have the hips square first, and then go ahead and stack one hip on top of the other,
and then back to hip square. And open right hip on top of left. When you do this, you can look at your left knee. See if you can keep your left knee centered as you just go back and forth here a little bit. It's a little bit of flossing of the hips. Good, then square the hips. Inhale. Exhale, right thigh in toward rib cage. Foot lands lightly between the hands. Push back through your left heel. Slowly we rise. Send the arms upward. Sink deeply in so we can get a little bit more opening across the, into the quadriceps. Okay, let's turn this into a balance pose. Take the arms downward, interlace your fingers behind your back. Then inhale, take the breath high into the top chest. Exhale, humble warrior. We'll fold forward. We often do it with the back heel down, but we'd like to have the heel off this morning just to invite presence, present moment awareness. It's one of the most beautiful aspects of balance postures. And then maybe the right sit bone moves toward the left sit bone a little bit. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the arms up and back behind you. Head and neck soft. At least that's the idea. Inhale. Exhale. Release the hands. Now place your left hand down on the ground. And pivot onto the outside of your left foot. And it might look like the right arm extends up here. Some of you, it might look like right leg on top of left leg for Vasisthasana. And some of you, it might be left knee to the floor, right arm extends. Choose what works for you. That creates a sense of opening through the chest. Inhaling, exhale, right hand comes back to the floor. We're in plank pose. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower. Come all the way down onto your belly. With your hands underneath your shoulders, pull your mat just barely. Barely use the hands. Lift up any amount. Feel how your shoulder blades can meet the back of your heart. Root the legs. Inhale. Exhale, down we come. We bend the knees. We let the legs just move left to right a little bit. Create a little space back there. Good, then legs right back into the middle. Let's sweep the arms back behind us. Reach back for your ankles. If not available, place the hands under the chest. Lift here. Be careful not to take that into the lower back. Inhale, bow pose. Imagining that we've got a little bit of a block between the thighs and we're pressing just a little bit. And then have the legs be strong, opening up the shoulders, the collarbone area. Take a good inhale into top chest. Exhale, slowly release, come back down, rest on a cheek. Pause and feel in. So when we're moving the body and opening the front of the body, it often helps to encourage the inhale a little bit. Inspiration. We want to inspire the body with the inhale, which you can feel even here. Well, you'll feel it better in puppy pose. Take the hands under the shoulders. Move to puppy. And as you just invite the inhale to be a little bit longer, you can feel how that moves into top chest, likely. Depends a bit on your anatomy, but for many of us that is the case. Good, then back to downward dog, please. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hand, step or float forward. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, lower through. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back over the toes, downward dog. Big thigh bones pull up and back. Left leg lifts, hips are square first. Then stack left hip on right. Notice your right knee, nothing changes in the right leg. And then back and forth here a little bit. So if you find that this action is challenging for you, well, there's a couple reasons why. One is we're upside down basically. So we've got gravity really pressing down on us. And the other is sometimes the hip, there's tightness in the hip. If that were the case, lying on your back and taking the leg out and then back in like this with the knee bent, very good idea. Good, pull left heel back, inhale, come up onto the ball of the right foot. Exhale, thigh to rib cage, foot lands lightly. Push back through your back heel. We rise all the way up. Settle in. Settle in until you can feel something. May not have to go very far. Interlace the opposite way with the hands. Inhale, lift the chest. Growing, growing, growing. Strong back leg. Exhale, slowly down. Rib cage right up against inner thigh. Relaxing head and neck. And then asking the left sit bone to move towards center a little bit. Lifting up out of the shoulders. Feeling the whole structure and how the whole structure can support us. You know, opening doesn't happen in one place, it's global. We inhale, exhale, release the hands, place the right hand down. Turn, pivot, come onto the outside of your left foot. And we make a choice here. This right shoulder is way back away from the ear. Maybe left leg draws over right. Maybe it's Vasisthasana. Maybe it's right knee down. Spread your breath through the body into the outer reaches. Grow the spine here. Inhale, exhale, hand down. Good, lowering through or meet in downward dog. Now, would you take your right leg up and back? Inhale. Exhale, right thigh to rib cage. The foot lands lightly. The left knee comes to the floor. We'll settle in here a little bit. And we want to check in with the left knee before we go any further. We might bend this knee. And if you feel like there's too much pressure on the knee, then either don't or place a little blanket or the side of your mat underneath. And we might reach back for the foot. We want to begin to invite, once again, there's a lot of invitations. Invite some opening across the front of the quadricep muscles.
And maybe there's some discomfort here. We see if we can allow ourselves to feel that discomfort so we can open a little bit. You know, otherwise we're back to the same old patterns. The left shoulder, here's the difference. I can either pull it back and open in here, or I can draw it forward and internally rotate this arm a little bit. I'm going for that method. Some of you may be able to really sink in here. Okay, slowly let that go. Let's tuck the toes under, turn, pivot. Have your feet parallel with one another. Left hand under left shoulder, opening out the right arm, the rib cage, long spine. Quite gracious between the hands. Inviting a sense of warm-hearted presence here. You know, sometimes we may create an invitation and nobody comes. We just keep that invitation open. We be the invitation. Inhale, exhale slowly, right hand down. Left arm out to the side. Yes, feel the space between the hands, the space between the top of the head and the sit bones. It grows. The space between the feet and the hips grows. Inhale, exhale, slowly releasing. Now we'll take the hands to the back of the mat, sweep the left leg up and back, hips are square, up onto the ball of the right foot. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage, foot lands lightly, right knee down. Okay, right knee is down. Check in with the knee. Sinking. Maybe bending, reaching back. It may look like this. This can be tricky for the shoulder for some people. And then being honest. Meeting the challenge or the discomfort. Listening, have both hip bones pointed forward. Spending a little time with what is here. So that's so fascinating how we can create a sense of awareness and spaciousness around whatever it is that we find, so that when it's really tough, we can meet what's tough with that open awareness. All right, now we undo. We carefully undo. We turn, we pivot, we take the hands back to the front of the mat, the right leg back, downward dog or lower through. Wonderful. And we meet in this mountain shape that is downward dog. And then slowly bring the knees to the floor, widen the space between the knees, gradually draw back into child's pose. Resting the forehead. And so the question is it a fact for you that you know that there is this growth potential for you right now? Like perhaps you've been faced with moving to a place inside yourself you've never been. I think we should all do it together. the growing bit. Now we slowly rise. And if you have a block, you might want it because we're going to take hero pose. So the feet will be on either side of the thighs and the toes will be turned back. If the toes can't turn back or if the hips are floating, that's when we want to have a block beneath us. So again, opening the front. And if there's space along the front here, we could begin to make our way back. But we're honest. We're honest in our opening. Some of you might find your way all the way back onto the floor. Some of you might be pretty high up here. And then we just pause for a moment and feel into whatever potential growth may be before us and the vulnerability that comes with that. I think it's so fascinating that human beings really prefer, for the most part, not to feel a sense of vulnerability. I bet a lot of us have been feeling a lot of vulnerability lately. Reach out through your knees, lengthen your femur bones as if that were possible. And can we get acquainted with what vulnerability feels like? All right, now will you press your shins into the ground if you came all the way back? We slowly rise up. Tuck the calves in under the thighs for a moment. Sit on the heels or on your block as if you're in mountain pose, lengthening and pressing the shin bones into the ground a little bit. Now the pelvic floor will lift a little bit here. So see if you can just encourage this drawing upward of the pelvic floor, because that's going to help to create a sense of opening as we move into camel pose, which has all kinds of issues. So we'll slowly come up and we'll start with the toes tucked under, the knees pressed, blanket the knees if it's uncomfortable. Imagine the pelvic floor lifting a little bit. And then use your inspiration, your inhale, to fill the chest. The hands can come to the hips. The thighs are forward, and you feel the thighs forward as you begin to open like a wave from the bottom to the top, coming in. Maybe the hands come to the ankles or the heels. Thighs forward, rib cage forward. Move breath into top chest and into the throat. And we invite an invitation into deeper opening, deeper, healthy opening. And as we come out, we initiate the thighs forward, rib cage, then head, and back to puppy pose, please. Just allow it to rest and feel in. Draw hips back just to alleviate any extra pressure in the lower back. Remember your fingertips, they can tiger claw the floor. Opening, making space, being an invitation. You know, we want to be utilized by life, don't we? We are vehicles
for life's work. And we slowly come back up. So we make ourselves an invitation. Use me. Use me, please. For the good of all. We come right back up to camel because it's never just one camel. Thighs forward. Chest lifts. Tailbone draws downward. Straight down into the ground. Doesn't curl, just straight down. Keep it rooted. And we open. Feeling how the legs, the stability of the legs, open, open, open. Some of you might take this further, bringing the hands in toward the knees. Be sure that you can breathe. Good, then inhale, rise up. Exhale, right back to puppy pose. Pulling hips up and back. So once we start down the back bend road, we tend to keep going down the back bend road until we are finished with the back bends. Let's make our way onto our back for 2 quintessential back bends. Lining up the feet so that they are parallel with each other. Strong legs coming right into bridge pose. Upper arm bones press. Knees forward. Inhale, fill top chest. We notice the subtle relationship between vulnerability and courage. Those two are, well, they're friends. And those two are also directly related to the experience of love. When we're willing to go there, into that new place inside ourselves, chances are that we will contact a little bit of our own innate warm-heartedness. Some of you might bring the right foot to midline, take the left leg straight up as if you're being pulled from above. While others of you will take the hands under the shoulders and rise up into wheel pose. Bridge pose, if you have the left leg up, go ahead, lower the left foot down. Right leg extends. Wheel, you might walk the feet in a little bit. And invite, where is it that we're looking to open in our lives a little bit more? Where is it that we're looking to show up a little more deeply? Imagine being right there. And then on to the balls of the feet. All of us come and we slowly make our way down. Soles of the feet together, knees go wide. And rest. Just allow the whole body to come to rest. So the strivers among us, let's pause on the striving for a moment. And feel into this. Let yourself sink in. Meet whatever is here. With tenderness and spaciousness. The stability of awareness. Yeah, okay, so there's usually not just one wheel or bridge either, so let's revisit it, but in a new way. So in a new way inside, see if you can come to this moment fresh. One of the things we've been talking a lot about in the meditation intensive I'm running is that if we put what we call a hand before our face, we look at it, we call it a hand, and often when we call it a hand, we can't see it directly anymore because we've labeled it conceptual, right? Oh, that's a hand. So we want to, every time we come into a posture, every time we come out of a posture, what's it like this moment like? What is this moment like? So bridge, hips up, or wheel, hands back. Yeah, there was a song in my teenage years, Feels Like the First Time. Do you remember that song? Feels like the first time. Have it be the first time. Good, subtle movements. Experiencing it in a whole new way. By just waking up to the shape and to ourselves in the shape. And then when you're ready, soles of the feet together, we've come down, knees wide apart, sinking, resting the mind. Remembering the sun in our hearts. Remembering all the friends that we haven't seen lately in person, sometimes family. And feeling how directly accessible that love was because they were there. And we bring them all into our heart. All the faces that show up when we invite them in. The little things we never said, the way they laugh or the way they say a thing, the pattern of their speech, the way they express their care for us. The way they breathed, And then hands around the outside thighs, happy babies sinking in. How honored, how incredible it has been to know each other. My dogs are outside. They're really ready for me to be done. Now we take the feet to the ground, take the arms wide, just let the legs travel to the left. As we look toward the right, we've created a little extra room along the front and the back of the spine, and so we want to catch the sides up now. Press right foot in a little bit so you can create long line through the lateral fascia. Turning your head and your neck toward the right. And slowly inhale, legs back up, and exhale, legs to the right. Push your left foot any amount. We gather ourselves. Good, inhaling, exhale, returning, and a little forward fold now. We'll take the right foot across the left thigh. Take your hands around the front of your shin or your thigh. Let the arms sink downward with gravity. Feel your lumbar spine and the comfort of it against the ground. And then we
gradually switch sides. Making ourselves an open invitation. Listening deeply for what's next. Good, then go ahead, send both legs straight up. Now you could keep your legs straight up here, or you could take shoulder stand as long as you've got a good solid neck healthy shoulder stand. Or you could bring the legs over the torso in a supine Paschimottanasana, reaching out through your heels, feeling the back line lengthening, back line of fascia lengthening. So one thing I think that's nice, it's been really helpful to me in my life, to be an open invitation for what's next, just paying attention to what is next. Not needing to know 3 years from now or 5 years from now. How can we be of service? How can we be useful? The answer arises, and this way we're acting as a vehicle as opposed to placing our will down all over the place. How can I be useful? Might be brushing the dogs, It might be washing the clothes. It might be taking that next step that we know we're ready to take, but we've been a little bit afraid. For the good of all the people that we so miss. We release now, coming down onto our backs, lying back in Shavasana. And resting, practicing the rest. So I'm grateful to my good friend who I haven't seen in a while for posting this amazing poem by Jeff Foster. Get this. So just open yourself to this. I think it's so beautiful. Love. Knowing that the one you love may not be here tomorrow. Knowing that today may be your last day to truly meet. Knowing that you cannot know how the story ends. For what is left in this life if you have nothing left to lose? Care deeply. Care until it hurts. Care in spite of what people say. In spite of ridicule and rejection and being misunderstood. Care so much that you no longer care what happens to you. Sink willingly into this bittersweet mystery of love, never knowing what love is and love anyway. Like a fool, like a fascinated child, like a madman, like one who has forgotten how to be cynical or how to be right. Love until your voice trembles and your heart pounds and your legs shake and your philosophies crumble to dust and your cleverness bows its head in shame and in reverence. And you will be taken to the darkest places, and your heart will be set on fire by the ones to whom you were never able to open your heart. And you will be reminded of what you have always secretly known, that in time you will forget everything, accept how to die and how to love. So as we lie here, the invitation before us is an invitation to love. And we draw one knee at a time into the chest. We wrap our arms around our legs. Thanking all those that so easily inspire our love. We take one arm up over the head and we roll to the side. What would the next action look like if we dedicated ourselves to living with love? We slowly come up to a comfortable seat. The eyes can be closed. We feel the warmth of the inhale and the warmth of the exhale. And we feel ourselves swimming in it. It was one thing to feel ourselves swimming in it when we were in a room together. Now we are in a big, big room together. Can we feel ourselves swimming in it? Let's draw the palms together at the heart. We'll close with 3 ohms. We inhale. Exhale. Inhale. We all bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart. Right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Well, we've done it again. It's the middle of July. It is a pleasure to be with you. As you likely know, I sure look forward to being with you in person. I'm so glad that we have this incredible opportunity to grow together in this very bizarre and weird and often challenging way. Let's keep going. No feelings final. Let's keep going. Okay? All right, I will be here next Saturday for sure, and we're going to be running a training actually through the studio where we're going to be doing all of this kind of work, and the studio is Breathe Together Yoga, and if you're interested in diving deep with my comrade Noel Clark, we would probably love to have you. So see if you'd like to go places with us this fall. All right. Take care.